Welcome, everybody, to Irrational Passions post discussion of Square Enix. I am your host for this discussion, Scott, and this time I am joined by Mr. Quinn, Alex, and Mike as we talk about all things Square. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm fine. It's hot in San Diego.
It's a little warm down
Yeah,
here
it's a
in
little
my
warm
in my
here.
dungeon.
It's a little hot.
I'm hot
like
for video
late.
games.
There's a lot to be hot and bothered by this conference.
Indeed,
Absolutely.
in a tank top for a reason. Let's get started.
We're taking off our shirts, right? This is a thing.
Yeah, it happens at the end though.
Mhm.
At the
very
end.
Should have watched the Microsoft press show. Post show. It was wild.
Oh, okay.
Phil Spencer was going crazy. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he was out
Special
of
guest
control.
Phil Spencer. Please watch.
It's
Please
good
watch.
time. It's good times. Little game called Final Fantasy VII started it. We're going to talk about that towards the end, but it did open the show. So how we're going to do this is we're going to go down through what they showed, briefly talk about what we liked about it, what games we thought were really cool. At the end, we'll then, of course, go all over the craziness of Final Fantasy VII and the trailer and everything we saw, followed by our grades and final thoughts. So, like I said, opened with a bunch, probably a good 15-20 minutes of Final Fantasy VII. Nomura came out, Katase came out. It was a good time. It was quite the party. Following that, we went right into Life is Strange 2, which I think was just a trailer showing what had already been playable. Like
The happenings of Life is Strange so far.
That was honestly that was kind of like a bummer trailer where like they like emphasized it on like here's the influencers playing this game and they're sort of reacting to stuff. And it's like, man, I get that's probably I'm sure that is probably like a very popular stream game, but that was like a bummer to like see that game in that in that context.
Picking back up where we just left off, after the Life is Strange trailer, we got very little new. We got another thing that Crystal Chronicles is coming this winter. Didn't confirm a 2019 release, just this winter, but it's also coming to mobile phones now because Square loves their mobile audience.
Injected it into my veins. Crystal Chronic.
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
need.
I want that.
Winter 2019. Just give us a date, you cowards.
They just said winter. They did not say winter 2019.
Oh, it didn't
Ooh,
have 2019
Jesus.
on it? Oh,
It was just this winter.
If we gotta play another fucking game in the first 3 months of next year, I don't know. I'm gonna be able to
And
take it.
rough.
knowing Square and how they like to do things, if they just say this winter, it's very possible it could be.
That would be
January.
that's
an
super
amazing
weird
December
to me
game,
also.
though.
Yeah,
Oh, it would be a fantastic.
it's super
December.
weird to me that it's like that difficult to port around. Maybe they're having trouble with like getting online stuff working as they want. Maybe that's
Maybe.
It's possible. You have to figure
Difficulties.
they're probably doing a bunch of new actual code.
Yeah, they have to like totally
Finagling
remake that
it in
game
and-
to be like multiplayer because like keep in mind the menus. If you played with more than one person, all the menus for that game were like
On the Game Boy Advance.
menus, and they were
Yeah.
like pixel menus. Like versus when you played solo, it had like menus on the screen and everything, but you had like each player had like a secret
Mhm.
objective that only they could see on their screen, and it's
Right.
like how do we incorporate that into a new version that's like maybe cross play? I don't know if they talked about that at all, but who knows?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So-
But it's exciting.
Look
Kinda
out for
cool.
that group stream though.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
great.
That will happen, no doubt.
Mhm.
They showed Octopath. They did because it just came out on the PC, so they were like, "Hey, remember it's on PC."
Yeah. Mhm.
Play it if you haven't, because it's very good. Mike and
Mhm.
I think very highly of it. It was
Fantastic game.
fantastic, amazing soundtrack too.
Yep.
But you should listen to our Game of the Year discussion from last year because we
Mhm.
talked about it. Then they showed Last Remnant, which at first I thought was really strange because it's like this has been out for a long time.
Yeah.
Why are they showing it? And then boom, out on Switch tonight. So that's cool.
Shadow Drop.
Yeah, that was a good shadow drop. It's a unique RPG.
Is it only on Switch today? And
Well,
coming
it's already been on PS4, Xbox, and Steam for a while.
out-
Yeah, the
okay.
remastered.
It's
Got
the
it.
remaster's been out for quite some time on the other platforms. So
I'm just catching up.
yes.
Never played Last Remnant. Probably never will.
Yeah, you're totally fine up.
but
I'll tell you
I
what, I'll tell you
generally
that.
respect that game from a distance.
Mhm.
I love how the character's name is Rush Skies.
Oh yeah, man. Voiced by
that's a-
Johnny Young Bosch,
Mhm.
Oh, that's good. That's a good
aka
like.
the Black Ranger, Ichigo, and Vash
Yeah.
Stampede himself.
That's a good like mid-aughts anime protagonist name.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Excellent.
After that, we went into some Dragon Quest goodness. Builders 2 got a pretty
Jolliest.
good long trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I thought
exactly
it
what I
showed
wanted.
really well. I'm
Mhm.
stoked for that.
Really,
It seems like way more of like a game, like a story game than I thought it would be.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's the thing I'm curious about. They didn't. I don't know if they clarified of the multiplayer aspects of that game and that maybe there's like separate modes where like maybe there's like a specifically like single player mode where it's you and that character that follows you around. Play through that. You can play that or
Balroth, I think it was, or something.
yeah, and then maybe there's like a separate thing where you're in a separate instance for multiplayer completely. I hope that's not the case. I think it'd be fun to be able to like do all the single player like story quests throughout that. I hope that's how it is.
I think
but
you can
guess
do
we'll-
the story co-op from what I've read from the Japanese version.
Okay, that's
I
good.
think I remember that. So
Jolly,
that looks
good
very
vibe.
fun.
Vibes. Look out for a group stream of that too.
Yeah,
I
that could
will
be
say-
that could be a fun game.
This is like right when I got home. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch the Square thing, and I was like, Dragon Quest Builders. I'm like, this looks rad as hell.
Did you ever play the first one, Quinn?
No, I did not, but I heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that could be a good click for you.
Mhm.
I played the
Mhm.
demo of the first one, and I was like, man, this could be like. I'm kind of getting into this. I think this is really rad. I've
Mhm.
never really gotten into Dragon Quest before.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's a part of me that really wants to dive into Builders too. It's very close too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's July. and it
July
is-
12th.
July 12th,
The
right?
demo.
Yeah.
So
There's
that
like,
will be.
demos.
I think
of it, too.
that'll do well. I think that's a good summer game.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Like I
Demo's
think
June
it's a really
27th?
good. I'm going on a long car trip. What's a good game to play? Like Dragon Quest Builders 2, I think, is a good itch for that. They showed off a bit more of 11S, the definitive edition. Still looks cool. Still saying that's fall, so that's good.
Yeah. We're
Nothing
gonna be-
about any of the additional bonuses or like updates to the game coming to the PS4 version, which I can't see them saying until after the Switch version comes out. So
I bet it's a
still looks
timed
cool.
thing.
I'm definitely still going to be picking it up on Switch. And playing through probably in the 16-bit classic mode because that interests me.
Yeah, they showed a lot more of that in this trailer. I think that was probably the biggest new thing.
Mhm.
It looked good. I think it's rad. That is something, at least like since the Switch does take a visual kind of hit, it is something that version has visually
Mhm.
that you can't get anywhere else. Which is
Yeah.
pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were
Um,
able to. That's one of the modes you could play on the 3DS version.
In the 3DS version, which
Yeah.
never came to the West. So.
Right.
I think
So
it's
that
really
looks
cool.
really, really cool.
The 16-bit it gives fans like that nostalgia, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it'll maybe make the game easier to traverse the world.
Yeah,
Instead of
that's what I
just,
want. That's
like-
what I want to know.
Yeah, I
Is
think
how's
it
that-
will.
If when you're flipping between, how does like that make for traversal? But we'll see.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it will be interesting. And then they showed off. I guess I couldn't remember hearing about the Square Enix Collective before, where it sounds like they kind of partner with smaller developers and smaller indie studios and release and kind of publish their games. And we saw a top-down racer called Circuit Superstars by a small team from Mexico. That looked kind of interesting.
Mhm.
I got kind of old school Hot Wheels racer vibes from it because of the downward angle. Battalion 1944 really tightly walking the line between copyright infringement with Battlefield.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
A lot of time on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's like, yeah, it's that weird thing of like, it's cool to see Square Enix helping out these smaller dev teams,
Mhm.
but you know, you don't have to spend all this time on one.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a free to play game.
Yeah,
'Cause I
didn't-
get,
It's
like,
like
the
it's
vibe that
$16 apparently.
uh,
Hmm.
Like $16 on Steam right now.
Okay.
Yeah, And when they were showing off the Square Enix Collective, I honestly thought Phelan was going to be in there. But then I was like, they didn't.
Yeah. It's a thing I've noticed, like them publishing smaller games throughout the last few years, but I feel like they didn't make a big hullabaloo about it until now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And that's a good thing. I think like they should be proud of that, and they should.
Yeah,
it was kind of good of them to just do it and then be like, okay, look at what we've been doing. Like, have a little bit of faith in us in this regard, you know.
Yeah,
cool.
I was gonna say like half, like a majority of those 2018 ones they showed, I was like, I've never seen this game, period, but it looks cool. I'm surprised they didn't like show this off more.
Yeah, I think it speaks that they're probably going to try and show them more and try and associate them with Square Enix more in the future, which is cool.
From there we got the kind of, even though was kind of announced last week, the Square Enix music, a bunch of the soundtracks are all on streaming platforms now, which is really cool.
Yeah, speaking of which, gotta go get
they kind of showed that off.
Download some soundtracks.
Lot of good music.
Yeah.
Musics.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Kingdom Hearts 3, we saw the Remind DLC trailer again. Looks really cool. Mike, Alex, we haven't really had a chance to talk at all about the Remind trailer. What do you guys think of it? And what we see?
Yeah, like it's in some regards it's what I expected, but also like not, because I'm sure it wasn't everything that's in it, but it was cool to. It definitely seems like it is on the final mix scale of like, all right, we're adding in more cutscenes at certain parts in the game. We're adding in a couple more gameplay things, like, you know, during the final fights, it seems like you'll either straight up just have the option to play as these characters, or now you'll just play as those characters in their own battles, which I think that's really cool. And I think I'm hoping that, I think they'll add, with that being the more character centric, I think that whole sequence might be different potentially, which could be pretty cool, as like obviously somebody who's played through that mode again. And something I noticed like this time that I don't know if I didn't notice the first time watching it, but I think I didn't like I wasn't like sitting there freeze framing it by any means, but I think when you see Sora in the final area of the game fighting all the Xehanort forms,
the Xehanort dudes.
I'm pretty sure he had Oathkeeper. That was like his Oathkeeper transformation form.
He had a new Keyblade for sure.
And it looked like it was Oathkeeper that he had in his hands, and I was just like,
it was Oathkeeper.
That's dope.
Cool.
That is dope. Seeing that, because that was definitely one of the big Keyblades that was missing from the base game that should have been there.
I don't know. I would say last night when that trailer came out, I was like, this is cool. This is good to see. It's good to have like just kind of a inkling as to where they're going to go with it. My tension toward like waiting for the next Kingdom Hearts thing is a lot. It's like been such a release, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, take as long as you need, right? I got such a great closure early on. It's not like I'm in a rush to dive back into something new. So there was nothing that got me. I was like, I need this right this second.
Yeah.
It's cool being able to play as Roxas, especially. But yeah, I would say in the press conference, it was kind of a bummer just to see that trailer again.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, we're not getting anything else. We're not getting a firmer date. We're not getting really anything on top of this. My speculation is that the title of it, Remind, I have a feeling it is like you going to a singular new location and then replaying a bunch of fights from different perspectives. And it's like challenge rooms, essentially. That's my bet. I'm thinking some of the stuff they added to Final Mix of 2. Just because I just got that vibe from some of the fights that we saw. That it was kind of like maybe replaying it.
Yeah, maybe even the fights we saw were like mirror fights, or whatever you said, like challenge data fights or whatever, where it puts you in those characters like battles or something, which could be cool.
Yeah. Which I'd be totally down for, just to be clear. But I think like that's not necessarily something to be building up crazily. There's definitely gonna be new cutscenes that we saw in this trailer, but I feel like it's gonna be a relatively small addition to the story.
I'm hoping that it extends like the characters you can play as now, even in those fights, extends past just Riku and Roxas. Like I'd love to play as Mickey or Axel even, or Terra again, or
Kairi. Please,
Kairi character.
Yeah, she deserves this.
Yeah.
especially now.
Let us I mentioned this in our discussion, like our spoiler cast discussion. Show me what all the training she supposedly actually did. Like, if you give me control of Kyrie and I can do all sorts of like crazy sweet shit, it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's what she was learning when she was
Yeah.
training.
Or like special magic that Merlin taught her, something that like
Mhm.
contextualizes what she did and makes
Yeah.
that character make sense in combat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was more, but I'm not chomping at the bit for more Kingdom Hearts. I've got plenty of else to look forward to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Plus, I
Yeah.
mean, we still got Gamescom, we still got Tokyo Game Show, so there's still tons of time we'll see stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
After the replay of the Remind DLC trailer, we got Shadowbringers, the new Final
Mhm.
Fantasy 14 expansion that's coming out in a few weeks, and that's still looking pretty damn good. And I still get warm fuzzies whenever I think of the story and kind of the history of Final Fantasy 14. So really glad that's doing really, really well. None of you guys have played 14. I'm the only one, right?
Yeah. I've not played it.
Never touched it.
Okay.
I've heard nothing but good things
Yeah.
about this new expansion and the game itself.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so
Yeah.
I was in some ways surprised by like the crowd's reaction because like up to that point, like that was besides 7 at the top. I think this was like the thing I heard like one of the biggest reactions to was like the expansion. I was just like I was surprised by that. I was like, wow, I guess this is very popular.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Plus, they're adding a lot of really cool like fan demanded things to this, like the
Gotcha.
Viera as a playable class, Dancer as a new class you can play as, Gunblades. So
Very cool. I heard about the Gunblade stuff. That stuff
Yeah.
sounds bad.
The promotional art for that was pretty on display for at PAX East, I remember.
Yeah.
After Shadowbringers, we moved on to Dying Light. Just a pretty quick trailer. Looks pretty cool. I kind of wish they had spent a little more time on it,
Yeah.
or dove a bit more into it, but it looks cool. I mean, it looks like there's been some sort of a time jump to it.
Yeah.
Because vegetation has kind of reclaimed a lot of the dilapidated city that you are playing in. So I'll be anxious to see
I'm
more. I
dying-
know Mr. Logan is.
I'm dying to see more Dying Light footage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to see a little more because like the pitch last year's E3 sounded cool, and then like I was expecting to see that expanded on a little more this year, and then they just kind of like in both cases like you didn't really see much more, and I was just like I felt like in some ways they're like the opposites of reveals, right? Where I feel like this year would have felt more like they're revealing this game for the first time. Even though they revealed it a year before, and then that reveal should have been something they were talking about this year in some weird ways with some of the stuff they had this year. But, I think it'll still be cool. They did give it
And they got spring 2020, another 2020 announced or release.
Too much.
So
And it's funny too because I'm pretty sure the first game came out in spring.
It was January,
Yeah.
which was a
Okay.
great time for it. So I think it could definitely do well earlier.
Yeah.
2020 though, damn.
Yeah.
I don't want
if-
to talk about that right now.
So you want to talk about a swan song of a generation, right? That's gonna be that year.
Yeah.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
we're going out.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
this
be-
this generation's going out with the MF and bang for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
And then we're
It's-
gonna relive all of those same games the next year when they remaster. all of
exactly,
them.
Hell yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah,
at
and
least
I'll-
with Xbox, they I don't know if not to get too off base, but Phil Spencer today on stream confirmed everything's coming over still. Like
Excellent.
with Project Scarlet, everything that basically literally everything that works on Xbox One, games, peripherals, anything that works on Xbox One will work with Scarlet. So
Excellent.
he confirmed
Good.
it like today just in an interview on a stream on like one of the Xbox streams. So
yeah.
Because hey, Sony, people like backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really the fifth Xbox will be able to play. Is it the fourth Xbox will be able to play all other Xbox games?
Which is bonkers.
It's crazy.
After Dying Light, we moved on to an announcement that Romancing Saga 3 and Scarlet Grace are both coming overseas. We got a Vita game announcement,
Yeah,
folks.
yeah. This
Shout
is
out
like
to George.
Yeah, this is like the most like niche of niche announcements. There had to, I feel like,
Yeah.
besides even the Vita, I feel like there was probably like 4 people on the planet that were just like, woo, like popping off somewhere, which is good for them. But these were
Georgia,
just like,
Nebraska,
yeah, these are just
where
like,
it's screaming. Yeah.
yeah, these are just like, okay, they're JRPGs I've never seen before in my life, but that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of random JRPGs, but I was kind of into it.
Yeah,
Saga is we only got the very first Saga, which was Final Fantasy Legend. One of the Game Boy ones was the first Saga game.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds right.
gotcha.
And then we didn't get the Mana series also started as a Game Boy Final Fantasy game over here on the West.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Adventure, right?
Yes, exactly. Which has been remade a couple times.
Yep.
But yes, so that's kind of cool. Coming soon. No firm release date on those, but I could see that in the next few months. So that'll be cool. After that, they talked a bit about the new Brave Exvius, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius game, War of the Visions, which is supposed to be like a tactical RPG.
I'm cautiously
Looks cool.
optimistic about
It
this.
looks really cool, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like it's a mobile game. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna play it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Hey,
like
man,
those-
don't
I
knock
could-
mobile games.
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say
No, I'm not. Mobile games have gotten a lot better. I just can't stick with mobile games to save my life. Like in my
Yeah.
head, mentally, there's just a stigma where it's. I just can't get it.
I could see myself getting into this one. There's a couple
Mhm.
like mobile games I enjoy, and just they're simple. Where this definitely seems like it'd be like a more complex one, but I don't know how deep that'll go. And also,
Yeah.
obviously, it being a mobile game, there will be some kind of where's the wall I hate in this, and then is it too egregious to continue because of money that they're trying to make money off it. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
very curious to see how that is.
I'm
And-
just waiting. I think it's. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Alex was speaking.
Oh,
on
it's
this.
Quin.
Oh,
I think
Quinn.
this might be
Sorry.
the first Final Fantasy game I play. So
Nice.
kind of into it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, sure, it's a mobile game, whatever, but that's easy for me to pick up instead of
Yeah, right.
jumping into Final Fantasy 7 or like 8, and not knowing what's going on.
We're
more
gonna
or
get you to
less.
play 7 though. Don't worry about it.
I
No,
If this
you're
game
in.
interests you, you should download Final Fantasy Tactics on your phone because that is
I
most.
can play Tactics on my phone.
Yeah, it's
Or the-
yeah, like the thing is, it's like just you purchase it, and it's like the
Yeah.
game on it's like a mobile version of that game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's,
Let me look at
they're,
this
they're,
now.
they're pricey though. The Final Fantasy games are pricey on mobile.
That's
though.
Square Enix tax, baby.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't know how much War of the Lions is though. It might be 15.
Yeah, that's what they normally
Oh.
are. At least
Yeah,
the
But
first
yeah,
one.
that's a fantastic tactical
It
RPG.
is $6.
Nice.
That's not
That
bad,
is
actually.
100% worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's low for Square Enix.
But yes, so that looks kind of cool. I think it's only a matter of time before Square starts porting some of their mobile games over to Switch.
Totally. If they're willing to make an entirely new one, even if it's a mobile one, like
Mhm.
they've realized like, hey, there's interest in these still
Yeah.
in some capacity.
I think it's only a matter of time because I would love to play the Kingdom Hearts one on my Switch.
Oh, I didn't
And
even know
this
there
one
was-
and Brave Exvius.
I didn't even know there was a Kingdom
Is
Hearts
Tactics on Switch?
No, criminally.
one. No.
Not yet.
Not yet. We can dream.
Yeah, I mean we're getting Crystal Chronicles, which is a big first
It's a
one.
big
so
fucking deal. Yeah, yeah.
That is on
Tactics.
there.
this is next.
I have to Google that because I don't know that name.
Crystal
But
Chronicles?
yes, after Brave Exvius, we got the official announcement of People Can Fly's new game, Outriders, coming summer 2020. It's a co-op third-person shooter with you and up to 2 friends, so a total of 3, where you can create your own character and shoot things, and looks kind of sci-fi-ish.
Who would have thought in 2019 would be like the big year of revealing like 3-player co-op games? There's been
Yeah,
like a
dude.
lot of them.
There's been a few. There has definitely been a
It's
few
a
this
sweet
E3.
spot. That I'll say,
Yeah.
like three players is a good spot. Like Podcast Ultimate, it's a good show, man. That's all I'm saying. Never forget.
Never forget. But yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Like it is like a sweet spot, but it was just definitely an interesting move because four-player co-op's been so prominent for so many years, and like there's still plenty of those being announced too. But it was very interesting to everyone. It's just like one of those weird things where I've seen enough of them now, just like within these past 2 days, where it's like I wonder like what like the thought or design processes are. People are thinking like let's just take out this one player and it'll change the game kind of thing. I don't know if it's like that big of a deal that people are making, or it's just maybe they found more interesting designs with having 3 players instead of 4 or however many.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Outriders. Sign me up for whatever the hell this game is.
I'm anxious to see more. Like, I've gotten... Maybe it's just in my wizened old years after I turned 30 that I'm starting to be a bit more, not cynical, I would say, but cautious. I don't trust cinematic trailers anymore. Like, it's like, that looks like a cool premise, but I need to see actual play.
Yeah.
Jared Green coined the universal phrase, no gameplay, no hype.
Yeah,
and I think it is
that's a totally...
It's smart.
It's a valid way to go by. Because, I mean, and I've been feeling that a lot too, just, in general. I wouldn't even say it specifically with this trailer, just in general with some of the trailers here we've seen across the conferences. It's just kind of like, okay, we're getting back into these CG trailers. I get it, because, next year there's going to be an entirely new generation of consoles coming.
The thing is, it's just going to rubber band back that much harder next year, and all we're going to see next year are like full game demos.
Yeah.
But it'll be for next gen, so it'll kind of work out in our favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I'm just going to dunk on Sony real quick because all they ever do is show trailers and no gameplay.
I feel like they do that, but they also show a lot of gameplay. Like last year, for example, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man. Was that there last year? It was.
Yep.
It was all just lengthy gameplay demos, and then they had trailers in between.
Yeah.
So they've gotten better at balancing it, but old school Sony certainly.
Oh yeah. They
just
would
bad
pick
lots of
specific
trailers
for sure. Like literally the year before that was nothing but trailers in some regards.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm anxious to see more of it. So it sounds like we'll be seeing more come this winter, I think they said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I'm
and
gonna
then
say that's the Game Awards.
Yeah.
It could be Gamescom though too.
Okay, Gamescom's like more like fall, I think.
Yeah.
Are we getting more info in winter, or are we getting a shadow drop in winter? That's what I want.
They said it's summer 2020.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just get more info. So that would be my guess is where.
Yeah, I could see that being.
Or PSX is back, motherfuckers.
I think it will be back.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think it's this year though. Let's just be real.
After that, we saw Anunnaki, which is a new action RPG coming August 22nd. It looked a lot like a Tokyo RPG game or Tokyo RPG Factory title.
Yeah, it looked a lot better here though, I felt.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It looks cool. I'm always down for some action RPG goodness.
It definitely looks like the most ambitious though out of those Tokyo RPG Factory games. Where like the last two, like I think ultimately I heard they were kind of like mixed overall on their actual releases, but they were kind of just going for like, hey, people liked this old game and we're just gonna try and make that combat again in a new game. And I feel like that's kind of all they did in the previous ones, where this seems like it's like the first time they're trying to do like their own thing in some regards.
I certainly heard better things about I Am Setsuna than their second game, which I can't remember the name of.
Yeah,
Lost Sphere.
Blue Sphere.
Lost Sphere.
Lost Sphere.
Yeah, Lost Sphere.
Yeah.
That's
Which
right.
sounds like just another JRPG.
Yeah,
I feel like.
exactly.
Yeah.
Probably think of Last Story. God damn it. Yeah.
But no, I think Oni Naka personally looks interesting because it has like Diablo style gameplay. I know it's like a shitty term to throw around, but it looks interesting as someone who's not big into JRPGs.
Yeah,
I could possibly get into this, and that's exciting. Because
and it's soon, in August.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at
August
too.
22nd.
So I get you.
So, so I'm down with that. And then we got Final Fantasy VIII Remastered coming to everything.
Finally.
Squall.
Hell yes.
Squall's back, baby.
Skull's back, baby.
I'm
No Leon
excited.
here. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that game get like its triple speed mode and like the
Yeah.
refill my health button mode and
Yeah, just
avoid
the- yeah.
random encounters.
Or give it the Final Fantasy IX treatment where it just makes everyone immediately go into hyper mode and do 9/9 damage. Something.
Hell yeah,
ridiculous.
give me that.
Yeah.
Give me baby mode.
You can
Yeah.
already make yourself like ungodly powerful innate without help of like a cheat thing though.
It's also like your level skills and all the enemy skill with you. So like if
Yeah.
you're ungodly powerful, it sucks.
They level with you. Plus triple triad though. I can play triple triad on my Switch, so it'll be nice.
Hell
Is
yeah.
Triple Triad in 8 or 9?
8.
It's in both, right?
Oh, okay.
No, Quadra Master is
yeah,
in
you're
9,
right. It's the weird,
which
other
is
thing that's in
vastly
there.
inferior, and it's ass.
Finally,
Anyway,
triple
I just
triad.
want to. I don't want the record to show that I screamed squall in our Slack as soon as he was on
Yeah.
on there.
He's back, baby.
Squall's
Put him
Yeah,
in
man.
front-
Good to see. I'm glad that it's been a really strange omission for a long time. So it's good that they're finally bringing it, doing something with it. Because as much as a lot of people don't like it, a lot of people do really like it. So,
Mhm.
myself included.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Patrick Klepek for loving this game.
Yeah. I want to. I definitely want to revisit it for sure. So that's
Mhm.
cool that they're making it more easily accessible.
And from that we get to their closing where they show off the first gameplay or not gameplay, the first info on Avengers or Marvel's Avengers.
Buddy.
So basically, game starts off. There's like this big celebration where the Avengers are christening the West Coast Tower. Shit goes sideways and some explosions, and the Terrigen Mist like goes crazy. And jump 5 years ahead, and it was very much a Infinity War like situation where the heroes kind of get disbanded and lose, and they're all kind of mopey, and they have to come back together, which is strange because it's not tied to the cinematic universe, so they're doing the same thing. But yes, we saw Thor, Captain America, Hulk, Widow, and Iron Man in some questionable graphics. Some people hate it, or some people aren't a huge fan, others are.
Very Crystal Dynamics looking graphics, I'll say.
Yes.
This is in line if you've seen Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider
Yeah.
style look. This is what the characters look like.
But we're gonna have 4-player co-op, a growing roster of heroes, which really excited me because I was kind of let down when I was thinking it was only those 5 characters. I'm glad we're going to get an expanding roster of heroes. All the new heroes and regions you can play in will be free. No loot boxes or pay-to-win scenarios, and they're partnering with PlayStation to get to do early beta access and some other sort of goodies. And it's coming out May 15th, so that's cool.
Yeah.
They showed no gameplay.
I mean, they showed very, very, very little
Yeah.
bits of
I think
gameplay.
there was like a couple snippets in there
Like
that
15
looked
seconds,
like
yeah.
cut in their
like,
cinematics.
like
but,
I think like each character had like a very brief moment where it
I
looked
think-
like, okay, I'm controlling that.
I think the frustrating thing, like everyone, the kind of all the discourse online right now is that I think that what this game is probably a lot more interesting than what they showed. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
100%.
what they should have done was exactly what they did with Final Fantasy VII with this game. Like, show me just like how combat works, how the core abilities work, and
Mm-hmm.
what this game looks like being played. Like, no game needed an on-stage demo more than this, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what's strange, that omission was made even more strange is because they have a demo that they're showing at E3.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't even show like a 3-minute gameplay demo, I thought was really, really strange.
Yeah, I feel like it came from the place, and we talked about this a little bit before we started, of like, oh, like the demo is going to be online like tomorrow on IGN's like stage show or whatever. So it's like we can show it now and waste time here, or we can just let people see it tomorrow. And I think like that's always a tough call that you got to make sometimes. And I think always the right call is let's just show it in the presentation so that way no one's confused walking out of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't make that call, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with demos, because like each demo will be, even though it's like a scripted, you can only play these things. I think there's some slight deviation that you'll see. But yeah, definitely needed some sort of clear gameplay demonstration on what we can expect.
What's
But, like,
weird is like this is clearly like Destiny, like this is clearly a games as a service
that's
game,
what I was gonna say.
and we don't know like what that is or how that works at all. Like, can I hang out in Avengers Tower and see like 12 other Thors walking around? Like, is there a social hub? Which, if I can, yeah, like sure, but just like tell me that, like, just let me know.
Exactly,
so
right.
I kind of have the right vibe. Like, if that's what it is, awesome, I'm in. If it's just single player story with some co-op missions, cool, I'm still in. But like, I'd like to know that up front. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And personally, some of the vibe I got is like, oh, you'll play as Hulk, then you'll do like set objective, then you'll do like the GTA 5 character switch thing.
yeah, I got that vibe too.
You'll go to a different person, and I think if they do something like that, that could be personally way more interesting than a games of service, because that makes the game more dynamic and fluid, and the gameplay could be something very, very fascinating. And however, I'm in on this game. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, like
I audibly.
I don't think any of us are poo-pooing it or saying we're out of it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I feel like there's a lot of people out there saying that though. To be honest.
I'm just talking about like our group of 4. It's like I don't think
I'm definitely into. Like
Me too.
I like Crystal Dynamics storytelling style.
Yeah.
It is just a thing of like, if is this an RPG, right? Like we have so many very broad
I think
questions.
it's questions out of excitement of like what this is, because like the potential of it seems like really cool, and like that was definitely the thing I wasn't expecting, because obviously I think I think the thing going in before this, and even like me and Scott literally said it like right before the thing in Slack of just like, I think this is not going to be a game where you're playing as like the actual Avengers. This is going to be like some game where you're making a character, and then it's going to be like, it would be still some kind of Destiny thing, but it would just be like your own superhero or something, and like that still could have been cool in some capacity, but also it's like still not the game I ultimately would have wanted, where this seems like it's potentially like a weird blend of both, which was definitely what I didn't expect.
I can almost picture this as like an Anthem style of thing. Not in terms of like, you load up missions and then you go out with like a group of 4 friends,
right?
And like each character behaves differently. You'll have like a tank class like your Hulk. You'll have DPS, which is like your Iron Man, and then like a healer or something like Black Widow or something.
Yeah, like
I could see something like that.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I was thinking too, of like, are more in the veins of like a I'm thinking more recently like World War Z or like a Left 4 Dead, even, where it's like you're going into these like chapters in a story, and you're basically being like, all right, I'm going to be Iron Man on this time, and you can be whoever character is a part of this particular scenario, and then you're playing out that scenario with like as a particular character who has like an objective in this like event, where I think like what they kind of showed, where the San Francisco is being attacked and you're fighting on the bridge, like and if you're Captain America, you're inside the helicarrier fighting dudes and have to do certain things. And we'll probably have to relay to whoever you're playing with to be like, hey, person who's Iron Man, you have to do this to help me out or something. Maybe I'm thinking it's like something like that. Like if it's something like that, even that sounds like fucking cool as hell.
If it's that, like, that's like exactly what I want, because like that I think is the thing that makes you feel it's an Avengers simulator, right? And like that's what we want to get to. If like you're Cap in the carrier and like they're trying to take over the guns and shooting down at your teammates, but you're in a totally separate part of the game doing a different thing, fighting different kinds of enemies, but the things that you're doing are affecting in real time the other players. That would be fucking cool.
And then I think like the potential of that, it sounds incredible, but then you get into like the nitty gritty of like, all right, how do they make that interesting in a way that's like continuously repeatable in some regards? Like I think
gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It'll be like gear.
What's
it
the
will
loot?
Be,
Yeah,
and because especially
Give me the
because
loot.
they've already said that they'll be adding more and more stuff as the game goes on, like
yeah,
a
that,
games as a service thing.
yeah, that could be the thing, right? Of like maybe they can and adding characters, even though this sounds kind of crazy, like maybe when they add a character that adds that character to all these scenarios, and then the scenarios potentially play out differently with
Mm.
with this character in this particular role or something. But
Mhm.
I don't know for sure because it was like hard to say because then you had like actual like story moments happening of like Captain America's like dead at a point in this. And you're just like, wait, what's like?
Yeah, and he's one of the 5 playable
yeah,
characters.
you
so
can
I feel
play
like
his
that's not gonna
character.
work
You're
out.
you're playing this character, so like maybe there is like a singular story to this that you can play through, but it's like still like this weird repeatable multiplayer thing. It's very. I really want to see this demo that they have.
Yeah.
Like they said, they have a demo. We will see this at some point tomorrow. I'm really interested to see what this actually is.
Yeah.
I'm
Go ahead.
optimistic of what
too.
Eidos brings to this
Yeah.
table.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I'm very, very optimistic because
They got a lot of good teams, like a lot of good ideas
Mhm.
went into this game at the very least. So,
I think Eidos is very good at building worlds.
Mhm.
And I think that will help this game exponentially.
especially if things can play out differently depending on
Yep.
like some of the things you bring into it.
Right.
What's going to sell me on it is how much you can customize your version of the heroes compared to your friends.
Yeah, can I put Captain America in a sick jacket?
Truth.
Can I make him dress like he's going to war for the first time?
Yeah, can I make it,
Yeah,
or like the
that's-
fatigue, like the not the fatigues, but like the dress wear, like the military dress wear, the hat and
Sure.
everything on.
His covers?
Yes,
Yeah.
look very
Oh.
good.
So I guess like the one thing like I don't think I guess potentially compared to some of the negative things, I don't know what everyone's saying online, like the faces and the things don't necessarily bother me. Like it looked like Marvel Spider-Man from last year. Like it looked on the same scale as that. But I think the thing that was a slight bummer, as good as this voice cast is, like I was kind of like bummed to just be
They
like
don't. Yeah.
like
Not a
they
diverse cast,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not like unknowns in the cast.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would have liked like some completely new people to take on some of these roles. Like I understand like why they get Nolan North and like
Yeah,
some
they're
of the
very good.
yeah
right?
the
Like,
best
they're
the
gonna
best
give
in the
good
biz. So I
dramatic
like
performance.
I
so.
totally get it, but it's also just like, man, I don't know if I will like I'll probably get over it by the time this game is actually out, but it was
Yeah.
super weird seeing
It's funny
hearing
'cause, like
Nolan North be Iron Man.
it's
I think it's
weird.
we're so close to Infinity War and having all the cinematic universe characters
Yeah,
like
and-
in our head, and
Yeah.
now going not
yeah, on top
to
of like
Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, and
or
on top
things
of like the
that.
voice actors being very iconic video game characters in other regards, and being in a lot of other video games, it was very just like this is I don't know how I feel about this 100%, but like it'll probably like by the time this game is actually out, I'll just be like whatever, I'm used to it by now.
Yeah, it's funny because that's kind of how I felt about Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker. But
Yeah.
I did get totally over it by the end of that game.
Yeah.
I really liked him by the end of it. So
I like him more than Tom Holland.
really, okay, I definitely
Ooh.
like Tom Holland more because I like his cute little Queen's accent.
That's fine.
But yeah, we saw, and then at the very end we saw Hank Pym, so that's kind of cool.
Mhm.
Cool.
First
No Scott
tease.
Lang, no Ant-Man suit, but hey, there's potential.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah,
You know,
and it looks like it's early Hank Pym, which is
Mhm.
yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. It means we
Oh,
could see
yeah.
multiple Ant-Man throughout the course of this game, which is cool.
But yeah.
sign me up.
Oh, May 15th. Add it to the growing roster of I have no life or money in 2020 list.
Yeah, early 2020 is gonna be rough.
I
Scott,
think I'll barely be getting over fucking Cyberpunk by then.
give me the icing on the cake, though.
So
What's the 2020 game that we're all really going to be talking about?
I think it's
The Outer Worlds.
like VII. No. Yes, they opened up with a like probably solid 20 to 30 minutes of Final Fantasy VII. The remake. the remake intro happens. We see Aerith being so damn waifu material. The character models in this are amazing.
Yeah.
Kitase comes out, some world themes plays. It's 2 games. We have confirmation it's going to be 2 games. The first one's going to be like the Midgar part is its own game. We did get confirmation on that. So that'll be interesting to see how they expand Midgar into its own like fully fleshed out game.
See, I interpreted this differently. I didn't think it would be 2 games. I thought it was this first game is just Midgar and it's on 2 Blu-rays.
Oh,
This game's on 2 discs.
yeah, it's on 2 Blu-ray.
It is 2 discs. They did
And
say
then
that.
the next game, we don't know how many games it is. I'm
Yeah.
personally assuming 3.
I'm
But-
thinking 3.
It's
bummer.
just like this. The first, yeah, I know. The
Well,
first game.
I think it's a bummer in a different regard that you're probably thinking, but well, we don't have to get to that.
Fair enough. First game is 2 discs, March 3rd,
Yes.
etc., etc. So,
In Midgar, we got to see a bunch of the combat. The ATB is back in a really, really cool way, I think.
yeah,
Mm.
man, really love this demo that they did.
This, we'll get to the specifics of the ATB, but ATB bar is back. You're able to switch characters like we've assumed from screens, but it's just a simple press of a button, you switch. They're bringing the stagger bar back, which I was not expecting from Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
Final
13.
Fantasy 13 cut, dude. What a
I
good
was
pull
like,
too.
Shout out to
Okay.
Lightning.
I could
Yeah.
I
But
see
I think
that.
That was in
Lightning
15
did not
also,
reveal
right?
herself, but she was present. You know what I mean?
I think the
Yeah.
stagger stuff was in 15 also, right? I think
I don't think it was.
No.
there was something. I thought there was something similar to where you
There
like,
is something similar,
where you like,
but
you like weaken them and then you do more damage.
yeah, but it's not quite the chain stagger.
Right.
And then like the things in the ATB menu, you can also assign a shortcut. So if you want to do more fast-paced action RPG, you can.
Think Kingdom Hearts here. It's just like
Yes.
that.
Yep. And then Nomura came out and talked a bit and showed. I guess it's going to be playable at the Square booth, so that's very cool. I imagine we'll be getting some really good feed
Man, think of
and
that. Think of that booth.
info for that.
Yeah. 7 and Avengers playable video games in that.
Guy. All I know is if it's at Square, it's going to be at PAX West.
Yeah, most likely. They will bring.
So
this
that
to-
means we have to go now,
we
right?
gotta go. Fuck, shit, they got
Cool.
me.
I'm
Damn
Damn
straight.
it.
excited to take a short flight, y'all. Sign me
We
up.
got the full version, like the full 4-minute almost trailer that they teased last night at the concert, and then the announcement of the first class edition, which comes with the redesigned Figuarts, or I think it's Figuarts Cloud figure, and his the motorcycle from the game, which I promptly pre-ordered. So
So I've downloaded the trailer and I'm like scrolling through it while we're talking. So maybe we can talk about some
yeah,
more specific points about it. A lot of stuff to unpack here.
I have a question.
shoot.
Yeah.
Do I have to play this game?
Yes. You're
Okay.
contractually obligated to. You have no choice in this. I know a lot of people at home were wondering, were very stressed, were very worried. The first Tifa shot, if I may, the Tifa reveal is at 1 minute and 30 seconds into the trailer.
Mhm.
So it is greater than 30 seconds into the trailer. So the bet is settled. I appreciate Justice optimism though. So yeah,
Great
this-
redesign. I love her redesign.
yeah, everybody's way truer to their original character design than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Especially Tifa. Tifa looks great.
Mhm.
Perfect, one might even say.
Sure.
ATB is really smart. You know, you attack. It plays in real time. You attack with square. The more you attack, the more you build ATB meters. They showed each character only having 2, but kind of like Final Fantasy 13, I imagine maybe in the future you'll be able to stack up more at once, and you use that to do special abilities or cast spells, or use items, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that they had like the tactical mode where you stopped to
Mhm.
issue commands, or you can shortcut them in real time. So if you want that
Yeah.
more traditional Final Fantasy combat, to some extent, you'll still get it. It's great. It's exactly That's such a smart combat
It
idea.
is such a brilliant meshing of the ATB and like the old school or the old game, the original game, and a more action based of like Final Fantasy 15 and modern Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna inject this real quick. This gives me like Mass Effect vibes. This combat.
Yeah, it kind of has that, or like Dragon Age 2. They
Yeah.
also had that kind of stop and issue a command,
I'm here for this combat.
which is really cool. It's a really smart
Yeah.
like innovation
Mhm.
for Final Fantasy, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really bummed about the Midgar thing, like just because they haven't quite shown us how they've expanded Midgar. Like I believe like there's gonna be plenty of stuff to do. There's ways to incorporate later parts of the story into Midgar as well. Like maybe Yuffie is for some odd reason in Midgar, and that's how you meet her, and that way it's more integrated in the story. Maybe the scene in Calm where Cloud kind of recounts his story with Sephiroth. And how he met Sephiroth happens in Midgar because there's a lot of good opportunities in the story for that to happen. But they didn't show any of that. They didn't give me like reason to believe like, oh, like this is expanded on in a way that's going to be good and it's going to kind of reach out to the other parts of Final Fantasy VII that you like.
Yeah.
It really just made me feel like they're afraid of how they've reinterpreted the open world, or they're not going to reinterpret it at all, and they're just going to do very segmented parts in the next game, and that kind of bums me out. That worries me. Yes, Quinn.
Yeah, it's
Why?
Pretty good.
Okay, why did you say it was 3 parts? I thought this game just takes place all in Midgar.
So
No.
the
The first Final Fantasy VII remake game that is out in March takes place in Midgar. This game is going to be an episodic game, so it's going to be like
yes.
there will be a Final Fantasy remake Part 2 full game at whatever point. And
the
then maybe a
original Final
Part 3.
Fantasy VII takes place all across the world. You go on a whole big adventure. The
Yeah.
first 7 hours, maybe 9 hours, depending, is in Midgar of that game the original Final Fantasy VII. And then you leave the city. It's a big moment. You see like the world map in the open world, and you go and explore. Which is why it's a bummer. So it's like maybe a third of this whole game, if like depending on how you play, is going to be this first remake game.
Yeah.
And I am assuming that there will be 3 parts. That just feels
Yeah.
right to me. It could be more, could be less, could be 2. But I doubt it. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, I'm like really impressed. I'm really on board. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just like have some concerns,
Yeah.
but we got to see the
I have
bombing run
some-
opening.
I have some too,
remade.
so it's totally
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah,
I hope that we don't have to wait much more than a year and like any more than a year and a half between parts.
yeah. You would
That's
hope
my
they
bi-
would figure
that's-
that out.
That's honestly my
Yeah.
biggest fear because, like, it looked fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed what I saw, and in a weird way, I wouldn't say 7 is like my favorite Final Fantasy in some regards, but seeing it in this interpretation is kind of cool because but it's going to be a very tough thing because I think there's going to be people that want it to be as authentic as possible to that story, and I think already them saying this whole first game is in Midgar, like I feel like it's already not that.
See, I don't.
And and that personally, like, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't have a problem with that because like I'm cool that them trying to at least make it. It's I forget the term for it is blanking on me, but
Reinterpret it.
yeah, like they're trying to bring it to a modern, like have like not necessarily a modern reinterpretation, but like they're trying to not just have it be its own thing. But my main thing is it being this big multi-part thing. Like you said, we don't know what it is, and it's just a bummer to think that like
We could be waiting 5 years after this before we see anything after
exactly
Midgar.
like
Yeah.
it's a real bummer to see, like, as much as this, I get it, this game is well regarded, I would still consider it, like, if I were to think off the top of my head of my personal favorite Final Fantasies, it would still probably be like in my top 5, but still, like, it's a bummer to think that I'm gonna be like 30
It's gonna be drawn out.
over there's probably like there's a potential that I'm over the age of 35 into 40 that we see Final Fantasy 16 as a video game, and it's like that's like a way bigger bummer to me, and that to the point where it's like I would have rather them not gone this big with this.
If they can nail it, if they can do like, all right, part 1's March of 2020, part 2 April 2021, part 3 is coming summer 2022, and after part 3 comes out on next gen, buy one thing, get all 3 parts.
Yeah.
If they can pull that off, excellent, amazing, phenomenal.
Mhm.
I'm in. If they can't, it's going to be very upsetting.
Yeah.
It's
If
gonna be a
it
big
goes
bummer.
past a year and a half between releases, that's when I'm gonna be like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is annoying. And in terms of what Mike was saying, like a reinterpretation, I don't think, at least from me, in terms of keeping the story, I think you can very much keep the story beats and like what happens in the story pretty much verbatim, but I don't know of anyone, or I don't know of many fans that would be against fleshing out of parts,
Mhm.
like fleshing out the environment, fleshing out Midgar, fleshing out Avalanche, as long as they do keep like the story. You can keep the story beats and like what happens in the story the same, while just expanding on the lore and the characters. I don't think people will have issues so much with that.
Yeah. That's the question, right? Like, I think you can
Yeah.
flesh stuff off, but I think ultimately that comes with a lot of changes, and that's what people are worried about. But we'll see. I am okay with them reinterpreting
Mhm.
that parts of that story and making them more modern, modernizing them, and maybe like trimming some fat here and there. But all the major beats of that game, I think, are so great. Like everything that happens in the Golden Saucer, everything that
Mhm.
Yeah.
happens in like the coal mines with Barrett and like recounting his village, everything that happens in Wutai, which is a total optional side quest with Yuffie,
Mhm.
everything that happens with Vincent and Lucretia, like these extra cutscenes that you can see by exploring the map.
Yeah.
All that stuff is essential, I feel, and as long as
Oh, for sure.
if it gets reinterpreted into like a more organic part of the story, great, that's fine. I think that makes sense. And it lets people like Nabashin, who totally missed those things on like a rush playthrough of Final Fantasy VII that he made,
Mhm.
actually experience that stuff. But as soon as you start cutting that out and making it so like you can't fight the boss in the safe at the Shinra Mansion or
Mhm.
this or that or whatever, that's when it's like, man, they're really messing this up, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see. I think
Yeah.
seeing this makes me feel a little bit more like they understand what made Final Fantasy VII special, and gives me a little bit more renewed faith in it. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
It seems like it'll be a fun game to play
Yes.
first,
Super
and
fun.
that's good. That's cool with me.
A true Final Fantasy action game too.
Yeah.
I would argue this is next to Tactics. This is the only Final Fantasy game that looks fun to play, for me at least.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like if you're out of like the turn-based combat, Final Fantasy is always gonna be a hard sell.
Yeah.
So seeing like 15 and now 7 remake break into that action territory makes sense to me.
Mhm.
I'm okay with Final Fantasy going in that direction as a whole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is such a rad combat system. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
I'm ready.
My body is ready.
My body
Take
is
that,
ready.
Scott.
Here it is, March.
But yes. So everybody, final thoughts. We'll go around. Give final thoughts, things that really stuck out, and then followed by your grade. Quinn, we'll start with you.
Solid B.
Okay. Any
I
other
feel
final
like
thoughts?
no, as someone who is not into much Square stuff, I think this is very big for the fans, and I think they did a great job of saying, "Hey, like we know what we like to make, and we know what our fans like,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically what this was. And I think they did a good job at that. Whether it was Final Fantasy or just JRPGs or new things, they did a well done job of
Mhm.
highlighting old and new. So
What about you, Mike?
I'm gonna give this an A. It's my favorite, probably my favorite conference in terms of like they showed what they needed to show in like a lot of regards. Not even just with like their two big things with Final Fantasy and Avengers, like getting the cool breakdown of Dragon Quest and builders and giving that like its spotlight, that, and it was like well paced and didn't take that long. Seeing Crystal Chronicles again, of course, like dreams are real. Seeing, even though it's just a mobile game, I'm happy to see some kind of Final Fantasy Tactics thing. But I'm glad that that kind of game is not dead. Avengers again, that what was even this basis, and that like we'll see more tomorrow. Like I was blown away by the potential of this game, because it was that thing of, I did not expect it to be that video game, that even the things we saw just in like what they showed in this reveal, like it was not the thing I expected, and it blew me away, and that's exciting. So yeah, I think that it was I was very pleased with the overall show.
Good. Alex, what about you?
I just want to acknowledge that Nolan North, when the Iron Man trailer, or the Avengers trailer dropped, he tweeted out, "I am Iron Man."
Bless that man.
Which is a good move.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, of course you can't. Of course you have to do that once you get that.
Of course you have to.
Yeah.
I would give it a B plus. It was back and forth between A minus B plus. I think where they missed me is outlining, like, they acknowledged that Final Fantasy VII is going to be multiple parts, but they didn't outline what that means, where they're going. There's a lot of stuff that necessarily wasn't for me, but I think it was presented well. And I think there was a little bit of missed opportunity in Avengers, even if what they were showing was exciting. But on the positive end of it, Final Fantasy VII is like excellent. I think they nailed it. They showed me what I wanted to see. The demo that they showed explained the combat the way they explain it, very genuine, very good. Tifa's perfect.
Yes.
That trailer was incredible. It was just a phenomenally cut trailer. Showed us like inside Shinra's building, the Shinra headquarters building.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about like the environments they showed.
Yeah, Midgar looks so good. The riding on a motorcycle through the train tunnels.
With Jesse.
With Jesse, which was a totally new way to do that section of that game, but have that section in the game still, and bring back motorcycles. Combat is great. The abilities look great. Yeah, that game is just a dream come true in every regard. And Avengers, I'm really interested in, kind of like what you said, Mike. I think what they showed was really cool, and the idea of it is legitimately incredible. Hopefully they can pull it off.
Yeah.
So yeah, B plus. What about you, Scott?
I'm gonna have to give it like a solid, like a hard A, bordering on A plus. I thought the things they showed in terms of Final Fantasy VII, I thought were breathtaking. I love the combat, how they've adapted the combat. I guess my only gripe is that they didn't touch on like how many games it would be or things like that, but I can also kind of understand why they wouldn't. But I love the environments they showed. I love the combat. I love the Guard Scorpion fight and how kind of fast-paced things are. I love that there was genuine like surprises.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft's conference suffered from the leaks, which Square's I don't think really had all that many leaks to it.
Yeah, I think it was just the Outriders game, right?
But some stuff had been released before, like the
it was announced
in the Remind trailer. So,
but like that, the Final Fantasy VIII remaster, Romancing Saga 3 and Scarlet Grey's coming out. Last Remnant Shadow dropping tonight. That's cool.
Don't forget Circuit Superstars, baby.
Yeah, the Square Enix collective stuff, that was kind of cool. I'm glad they gave time to Dragon Quest Builders 2 and Dragon Quest 11S. Yeah, just all in all, I thought it was a very strong. It's my favorite conference so far.
Yeah.
This E3, I think it had genuine surprises and really. It's so much better than it was last year.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
It's like, holy crap.
Not a peep from the Quiet Man, which is crazy.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Quiet Man 2 launches this summer.
Quiet Man is going to be the first free character in Marvel's Avengers. He is an Avenger now.
He is the Quiet Man it's just a dude in a leather jacket jumping on people's heads.
Just grimacing at him because he doesn't speak.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see more like actual gameplay and see things of Avengers in the next couple days. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, solid A. I was very impressed, and I know I'm going to be watching a bunch of those. That Final Fantasy VII trailer over and over. And shout out to Square Enix for selling like a $2,500 Final Fantasy VII watch. So
That's
big.
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why?
They're doing a Cloud version and a Sephiroth version. So
Why not, Quentin?
because it's Final Fantasy.
Capitalism is bad, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A chronograph, Final Fantasy VII chronograph, up
What
for
the fuck
pre-order
does
on
that
the
even
Square Enix
mean?
store.
It's a
It's,
clock.
I guess,
Type
it's a
of fancy watch.
and
Yo,
yeah,
just get like a shitty Timex. Like, let's.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey man, let me tell you about fancy watches. They've never made sense.
it's true.
Yep.
Yeah, because you can get a $20 watch and it does just.
This
the
one
same
does
job.
say 7 on it in the Final Fantasy like Roman numeral font though, so I guess I'm gonna buy it. I can.
All right, I guess
I can
Alex
probably
isn't
drop-
going to PAX
Yeah,
West.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't go to PAX, guys. I gotta be in debt for the rest of my life. Real quick.
Yeah,
Yep, this watch.
yeah.
gotta get this
Alex
watch.
isn't eating for the next 8 months.
Yeah. Next
Something
time you
like
see
that.
me, I will be a skeleton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, that
this
is going to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody for Irrational Passions Square Enix post-conference discussion. I want to thank you all for stopping in. We'll be having a bunch of other post-conference discussions up on our
Yeah,
YouTube
so
and
guys-
on our website.
Nintendo,
I was about to
baby.
say,
Let's
Yeah,
guys,
go!
tomorrow's
we still have
Nintendo.
Nintendo. They could.
Animal
we're getting-
Crossing.
Yeah, man. They
Animal
gonna
Crossing
get-
isn't going to be there.
It'll
No,
be
we,
there.
yeah, we don't know. We don't know that yet for sure.
In like
I remember
Just over
listening to
12
something,
hours.
It wasn't there. Hearing
So there's been so like the thing came out that what games are playable at E3 and it was not in the lineup of playable games, which like in some ways I think that doesn't mean
Makes
it
sense
can't
for
be
Animal
there
Crossing.
because
Mhm.
like that's probably a super weird game to demo.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
people just to walk up and try and play that, like people will do it because it's just Animal
Whose town is
Crossing,
it?
but exactly
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna sit here and like try and
I
catch
don't
a, catch a
belong.
catch a fish for like 15 minutes. Like it's they can't.
That sounds lit to
they
me,
can't
though,
really-
to be fair.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm down and just talk to devs and catch fish. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
That's
within
not kinda
13
demo.
hours, we'll know a new
But-
Smash character, so
Yeah,
that's cool.
man.
Yeah,
Urdrick
Smash
will be-
character, we just
Erdrick will
mentioned-
be in Smash
we
right
just
now.
mentioned three.
So that'll be
What if it's
exciting.
Earthworm Jim?
Earthworm
was.
Jim will be fucking everyone in Smash this time tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
That'd be so good.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Pulls worm out.
But yes, thank you all. Be sure to check out our website, irrationalpassions.com, for a crap ton of content. We got a lot of good stuff coming out that came out last week and recently, and we'll have E3 stuff. It'll be crazy. So be sure to check all of that out at irrationalpassions.com. You can find us in video content over at youtube.com/irrationalpassions. Follow us on Twitter at irrationalpod. You can also, of course, follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/irrationalpassions. And until next time, everybody, stay irrational, enjoy E3, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Good night.